I think propagation is a great skill for any gardener to have. You can duplicate your collection, and every time I raise something new from a cutting, I get joy from the creation of new life. This is a guava. Now, guavas are a bushland weed in Brisbane. They self-seed so readily, but the offspring often produce really poor quality eating fruit. So if I want to reproduce this really good quality guava, then I have to use a technique called aerial layering. Now, cuttings and aerial layering are a way of cloning the parent plant. For aerial layering, you'll need secateurs, plastic-coated wire, matches, honey, hormone rooting powder, and the seekers. This is the Lord Howe Island fig, and it's a spectacular plant from a really isolated archipelago. It's uniquely Australian, and I just love growing them. Unfortunately, I don't have the room. These plants will grow quite easily to fill a football field, up to a hectare in size. They have a low crown, just like the Moreton Bay fig, but not as tall. And they have so many aerial roots. They are literally living children's playgrounds. I'm not able to grow one big enough to get seed, so the way I propagate this is by using aerial layering. Now, the first thing to do is to select the stem where you're going to propagate them. You can see here the green wood is new, and just behind it is some old wood. Now, I'm going to make a cut, not all the way through, just half the way through at that junction. Now, to help the wound heal, I'm going to put a little bit of honey on it, and this honey has an antibacterial function. It'll help it to heal, and then the honey is perfect for sticking a little rooting hormone onto this wound, and that will help with the formation of roots. Now, during the rooting process, I find it helps if you use a little piece of matchstick, which you trim down, just to hold the wound open, and it just seems to help with the formation of roots. So I'm just going to slip that into the nick, just like that. And this is the bit where the seekers come in. Now, you don't need to use the seekers, but I'm using this record cover to hold down some pre-cut pieces of cling film and silver foil. Now, I'm making a small container using the cling film and some cocoa peat. And this cocoa peat has been thoroughly moistened. If you can't find cocoa peat, then you might be able to use sphagnum moss, but cocoa peat is more sustainable, and I've been using it for 30 years with great success. Now, you place this around the wound of the plant. So in a way, it's like an aerial pot just filled with coconut fibre, and the roots will develop into this aerial pot. Now, this was the technique that I was taught when I was a student in London. And of course, London has lovely, cool, cloudy weather. And when I first started using this technique in Australia, all the roots were dying. It was producing roots, but they were being cooked by the sunshine, getting through the cling film. So this is where the silver foil comes in. You wrap this around the outside, and not only does it help to keep the moisture in, it reflects the sunlight and creates the ideal conditions for roots to grow in. Now, I'm using this plastic-coated wire to firmly hold this in place because the rooting period could be anything up to 3 months. And the only way I can tell if this has been successful is to peel off the silver foil, look for roots, and if there are roots, then I can use these snips to separate the new plant from the parent, and then it can go into a pot, and off it goes. Now, during the rooting process, this cutting remains attached to the parent plant, so it's still receiving nutrients and water. And that's why aerial layering is so important for plants that don't respond to traditional cuttings. And of course, we mustn't forget the joy of unwrapping this little bundle and finding it full of roots. The pleasure of propagation is in creating new life.